Hello, and welcome back to Of the People. I am Robert Chernin.
With
and
Ericka Redic.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Ericka, before we dive in, we talk about WTO. Where's the outrage? I think WTO, we're going to rename that.
Okay.
WTO now means woke to oblivion. Because is there anything that woke doesn't touch that doesn't just screw it up?
No, literally.
Let me ask a question. This is a test.
Okay.
Be careful. You're being graded.
Okay.
Is there anything that wokeness or wokeism or whatever woke thing you want to label it has made better? Name me one thing. This is not a trick question.
I can't think of anything. There is that one Childish Gambino song, "Stay Woke." I don't know if that's where this started from. That is a good song.
That's okay, but it sure ain't working for Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch these days.
It is the original meaning of woke. That's oh my God, wokeness actually destroyed the word woke. That means it ruined the song woke. Stay woke. No, it literally ruins everything.
So, all right. So, got it. So, folks, you can reach me at Robert at Coalition, the number 4 America, coalition4america.com. I'd like to find me one thing that woke has made better. And Ericka, where can they reach you?
Challenge. generallyirritable@gmail.com.
And by the way, today, she's not generally irritable. She is outraged. We're going to get to that in segment 3.
Wicked irritable.
So here's the other thing, and then we're going to segue into woke. There is now concrete proof through census. The great migration of the African American, really it's black community, from the old South.
Yep.
They fled north and they fled west for freedom, for schools, for everything else. There is now definitive proof through the census that there is a reverse migration, that black Americans are leaving the cities in the north and west and heading in droves back down south, right?
Yep.
Right. So, I'm sure I'm going to get crap for this. So they left the plantation, right, in the early 20th century.
Yes.
Only to be on the Democrat plantation in these cities where they are, in my opinion, held captive. And they're held captive by keeping the cycle of poverty, by refusing to allow them to get better education, to raise themselves up.
That's right.
But now they're leaving in droves to go to, and look, most, some are liberal, some are conservative. The point is that, we talk about the black community like somehow it's different than any other community. And look, the Jewish community has its own idiosyncrasies and they're different. The black community, the gay community, that's fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, let's look for what we all have in common. Is there a community out there, black or otherwise, that doesn't want better education for their children?
I mean, that is across the board. It does not matter what color, race, culture. People want their kids to have better opportunity than they did. They want to be able to have good jobs. They want safety, security.
Right. So, and they want, is there any parent out there, black, white, brown, pink, purple, I don't care. Is there any parent out there that doesn't want their children to start off better than they did with more opportunities?
No. Unless you're a terrible person. I don't know anybody like that.
Right. So what do you make of this black migration? Because that will, a lot of things changed during COVID, right? And then people were voting with their feet, thank God. But if the black community is now being more dispersed, and let's be clear about it, it's not just New York City. It's anywhere that there were large black populations in the north or in the west. Oakland, San Francisco,
Philly.
Chicago, Philadelphia, Cleveland, New York. The list goes on. And there's now, I think it's like 20%, don't quote me on the number, but significant migration, which will change the politics of where they end up, because not all of them are conservative, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? So here's my question for you. Were they leaving the plantation to go north, or are they leaving the plantation when they're going south or away from it? Because I think, you know what I think.
I know. Well, this is what actually, this is why you'll hear a lot of black conservatives or black folks who are involved in politics say They're leaving the Democrat plantation, right? So they left the Southern plantation for the Democrat plantation.
Right.
They bought into the lie that the Democratic Party actually cares about them, actually wants what's best for them, and would support them in rising up out of the civil rights era with political power and more opportunity. And the reality is, it was all a lie. Even President, oh my God, starts with an L, from Texas. I'm a terrible Texan. I'm gonna
Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Yes.
LBJ.
He even said, we'll have these N-words voting for us for decades.
Excuse me. You live in Texas, and one of the most revered presidents and all, because, Texas had a couple, right?
Yeah.
LBJ, just remember the initials.
Total
LBJ.
racist. He literally said, we'll have these N-words voting for us for decades. So this belief that somehow the Democratic Party ever cared about Black people was always a lie. They were using the people to change demographics. They lied. They said that they would get political power. It was, and so
by the way, you know how facts don't matter. I'm going to give you a fact that
gets me hot.
I'm going to give you a fact that doesn't matter, because people hear it and their eyes roll back in their head. But I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Which party emancipated the slaves, the Black slaves?
Republican Party.
Under Abraham Lincoln.
That's
Which
right.
party at the time was responsible for, quote unquote, wanting to keep them on the plantations down south?
The Democrats.
So the Black community gets emancipated. Wait, that's fact. And then they get emancipated and they move north and they move west, and they go on a new Democrat-run plantation called inner cities.
Yes.
So the Black community is what? 13% roughly of the American population, give or take.
Yeah.
They always talk about the Jewish vote, of course. I think we're 2%. I will tell you that when the Black community in droves finally wakes up to this, how egregiously they've been treated over time, and the Hispanic community as well, because those two communities are really, when you add them together, that's where the political power is. When the Black community finally wakes up and decides to vote in their interests, and not just vote because some charlatan like Al Sharpton, tries to keep them in the promised land of the inner city for money, then the country changes.
This is one of the things. It's an old video, Robert. It's like, golly, what is that now? 2-3 years old on my channel, Generally Irritable, where I actually spliced together quotes from the Lincoln Douglas debates. Okay. Stephen Douglas, Democrat, Abraham Lincoln, Republican. I spliced together quotes from the Lincoln Douglas debates with an Ari Shapiro video where he is quoting white people of today, basically saying this, repeating the same racist tropes about Black people as Stephen Douglas was during their debate. It is so outrageous to me.
For thousands of years, the Negro has been a race upon the earth, and during all that time, in all latitudes and climates, wherever he has wandered or been taken, he has been inferior to the race which he has there met. I do not believe that the Almighty made the Negro capable of self-government. He belongs to an inferior race and must always occupy an inferior position.
Wow. These days, the argument is that Black people can't get themselves IDs and things like that to be able to vote.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
And that voter ID laws disproportionately affect people of color.
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works. How if you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
How is it possible that you guys think that black people or Hispanic people can't manage to get to the DMV?
I know it's at. It's on 25th Street. It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
They need an ID to get a bank account, to go on a plane, to get a job, to do anything.
Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
So even if you don't think they're smart enough to get a job and take care of themselves, they need an ID to get those welfare benefits. How is that voter suppression?
This is one of those topics that I get super hot about because...
Excuse me. Is there a topic that you don't get super hot about? Because if there is, I can't name it.
Wait, Benjamin is telling me to repeat that quote. Which quote? The Johnson quote? They need to wake up. You mean get woke? Oh, yes. Oh, okay. That did not go well, Benjamin. I don't know what you're trying. You need to. I don't even understand. We're gonna cut this part out of the.
No,
video.
we're not. This is my favorite part. I get to watch sort of the repartee and not be a part of it. I'm so tired of leading.
I don't know what you're saying, Benjamin. I literally don't know what Robert said. Get woke. Oh, right. They need to wake up.
They need to wake up. Robert, I did say that.
Get woke.
They need to get woke, but they need to get woke in the real sense, right? Wait. Wasn't it you who just said that they've redefined the term woke?
He's shaking his head. Yes. So originally, this is the whole thing. The original
like gay used to mean happy.
Right.
Woke used to mean actually waking up, not right.
Yes, awakening. So the original song by Childish Gambino was "Stay Woke," meaning stay awake, stay aware, wake up, see what people are doing, do whatever. And so it really is like, unfortunately, the left, like they do everything because they are terrible, is they commandeer the language and they change it.
But we allow it.
Commandeer the language. Dude, even, oh my God.
Did you just call me dude?
Dude.
So that would make me the Big Lebowski? I love that.
Not,
the dude. I want to be the dude. Is there anybody who doesn't want to be the dude?
Oh my God, I'm having hard times with names today. The black guy from the 70s that they assassinated. Not
Martin Luther
MLK.
King?
Not MLK.
Malcolm X?
Malcolm X. Malcolm X said
See,
the most dangerous
This is why
person.
you need me. This is why you need me.
Malcolm X said the most dangerous person to a black man is the white liberal. He literally warned against all of the policies on welfare, the way that white liberals were trying to take the black man out of the home and tear him down and call him names.
But Malcolm X also said that the black community could not integrate into America and really needed its own nation.
He also changed over the years. I believe he died a Christian. So
that could be.
Malcolm X was
that could be. I don't know.
Malcolm X was an incredibly dynamic and
for sure
figure and he has been demonized. And I believe he was demonized by the likes of a Lyndon Baines Johnson, who did not want black people to awaken to what they were trying to do to the community. And so what has happened is these policies of inclusion and all this other crap, it has destroyed the cities. And now black people are seeing that the lies are happening and they're leaving. They are leaving the Democrat plantation.
Thank goodness. Let them leave the cities. And look, I want to segue to one other thing that's related to this, which is the whole education thing. I mean, when you see the nonsense they're shoving down our throats, and they're not just shoving it down the throats of black families, it's white families and pink families, and who cares? But what used to pass for education, now it's no longer we no longer try to raise people up. We try to dumb people down so no one feels bad about themselves, because in Michigan, you go to jail if you make someone feel bad about themselves for 5 years or whatever it is. So you've got, and we've talked about big education, because I really want to get to this, because it impacts the whole country, but it certainly impacts the black community at least as much as everyone else, and perhaps more given the inner city aspect to all of this. So we'll get to my friend the Hopping Hobbit later, but the NEA, which is the American Federation of Teachers that Randy Weingarten is the head of, is the second largest big education union. The National Education Association is numero uno, number one. Mm-hmm. And they just came out with, you'll love this one, they just came out with a toolkit on sexual orientation and gender identity for teachers. And pronouns, someone has to tell me what Z, Zim, Zer, Zins, Zitself or Zerself is and all that crap. So at the end of the day, they're not about teaching. They're about, again, wokeism, redefining society. They're about mind control, in my words, right? Because they're going after the youth.
Yes.
And then you've got that, can I say the word cretin? Because she's a cretin to me. Yeah. You've got a cretin like Randy Weingarten, who now has the audacity to come out and say, oh, of course there was some learning loss and there was some mental health during COVID, but we didn't know any better and it's not our fault.
What?
Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, no. So look up, folks. I may talk a lot, but I try not to make up too much. I make up a little bit, right? Randy Weingarten admitted during an interview that, quote unquote, of course there was learning and mental health crisis during the pandemic. If you don't believe me, just look it up. And that is in early June. Actually, it was last week she was interviewed. And here's the quote, which you're going to love. She basically says the following. All of us were wrong when we said, oh, no, there's no learning loss. Of course there was learning loss. Of course there was a mental health crisis, she said. What COVID did, whether schools were reopened or not, because LA did better than Florida, which is total crap. It's not true. And she doesn't cite any facts. What COVID did was created a huge loneliness and dislocation. We didn't know any better. Right. And then she went on to blame, of course, the culture wars around the country for the declining scores. And don't forget, this is the first time in 100 years that the reading scores are down, the math scores are down. I mean, if you want me to pull this up, I'll get the exact quote again. But this is the first time again.
We're dimmer.
Right. Yep. U.S. schools have seen the largest average score decline in reading scores since 1990 and the first average score decline in math since 1989. Right. But what she says is, but we need a more inclusive society. So there's that word again. So let's dumb everything down. Let's not try to, so a rising, tide doesn't float all boats. In fact, a rising tide is going to make other people feel bad who have to work harder to rise with the tide. Oh my God.
Do you know there?
Right.
Robert,
and this is why the black community is leaving the cities, because they get fed that crap.
Well, and right? I just learned about the reading curriculum over the last 20 or 30 years.
Right.
Actually also got changed.
Correct. Of course it does.
So rather than sounding out words like a is or or whatever, instead of learning to sound out words given like letter, order, or whatever, like you and I were taught to read, they have been taught to look for context clues in the sentence. So we literally aren't even teaching reading anymore.
Wait a minute. Thomas Sowell, who, if you've never read any Thomas Sowell, or who is one of the most brilliant minds,
national treasure,
no question. And I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember the exact quote, but he basically said, the issue isn't that Johnny can't read and Johnny can't write. The issue is we're not teaching Johnny how to think. And I'm paraphrasing, folks. But look up Thomas Sowell, Sowell. National Treasure doesn't begin to really, I mean, the simplistic brilliance of this man and the cutting truth is irrefutable by anyone, and I defy anybody to show me something, go, well, it was wrong about that. It wasn't perfect, I get all that. But my point in all of this, because we have to go to break, is that when you combine the fact that the black American community is leaving the inner cities, one of the things driving them out of the inner cities is they're looking for better education. And I have a thing I will tell you.
Number one reason I think.
Yeah, because how do you break the cycle of poverty? You get educated. That's it's not rocket science. This is how it works. I will say, though, I think they, being the big education, whether it's Randy Weingarten or the NEA, has overplayed their hand, because I think they have been the single greatest boon to private schools, to religious schools, to charter schools, and that movement now, and parents are now involved in this critical race theory crap that they're shoving down our throats. Good. You guys keep doing it, because you're worried about wokeness. Well, we are awake.
Yep.
And we're about to fight back. And we've been fighting back. That, by the way, gets my hot buttons going. Folks, you are listening to Robert Chernin and the lovely
Ericka Redic.
We will be right back. Stay with us.
From conservative commentator and contributor to Breitbart News, The American Spectator, The Jerusalem Post, The New Civil War, Exposing Elites, Fighting Utopian Leftism, and Restoring America, Bruce D. Abramson brings a transformative exploration into how progressivism has poisoned America. Featuring a foreword by President Trump's former strategist Sebastian Gorka, Ph.D., The New Civil War will open your eyes to the left's incendiary agenda and how patriotic Americans can fight back. We are living through a national trauma. The United States has jettisoned the rule of law and ceased functioning as a republic. Battle lines have been drawn. Progressives are moving quickly to cement their transformation of the country's beliefs, attitudes, values, social structures, economic models, and government organizations. Patriotic Americans are waking up to recognize that conservatism failed to conserve much of anything. Progressives control academia, media, the civil service, and several of our country's most important industries. The new Civil War is not a call for war. It is a recognition that war has been declared on us. Our sacred love of liberty is under attack. Unless we defend it, the America we love may be lost. This book is for every patriotic American eager to defeat the utopian left and restore America. Joel Pollack, conservative journalist. Americans face a bizarre new political landscape. A supposedly moderate president who ran on promises of unity is pursuing a radical left-wing agenda. These challenges call for principled, effective opposition. The new Civil War will help start a conversation about how to push back. Harmeet Dillon, civil rights lawyer. As a lawyer who defends the victims of progressivism every day, I have looked into the eyes of the thought police. The new Civil War provides the wake-up call America needs and serves as a self-defense manual for patriotic Americans. Get your copy of The New Civil War today.